Laith, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon to just talk about the panel discussion next week. I wonder if I can just start by getting a little bit of your backstory. I know you're at Abertay now, but kind of where do you come from originally and where have you been?
Well, I originally came from industrial background, and I changed career when I arrived to UK to academia. But most of my career life at the beginning were in the industry, in the R&D for wireless communication, telecommunication, wireless industry, doing lots of projects, new projects, interesting project about wireless communication. And then I moved from that. I reached the level of head of department for R&D for wireless communication. And then by the 2003, I moved to Siemens Telecommunications and get involved with the infrastructure of wireless and communication, mobile technology. And I believe this. I still continue with that when I continue with my PhD because I worked on wireless video streaming over wireless technology. So the wireless technology still stayed with me, and I'm continuing now with the 5G. So after I graduated from Essex University, I started working in the academia, and I love lots of the research aspect of it. And I like to, because I have the mindset of the industrial people and now the mindset of the academic people, I would like to merge both when I'm thinking of a research. How can I apply this piece of research which I'm conducting in academia, how I apply it in an industry field? And I try to reach out to industries, companies, SMEs, sharing ideas, discussing ideas with them. And even with my students, I always ask them if they are doing a project, try to do a project that could be implemented in industry or an idea, or maybe this is gonna be your next company. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thoughts about this.
And so, but in that sense, it sounds as if you've largely worked in the context of large corporations. Is that fair? When you were working
Yes.
in the sector
Yeah.
and then moved
Yeah.
across. So did you come to study in the UK? Was that kind of what brought you
Yes.
to the UK?
I came to study in the UK, and then I decided I'm gonna continue here. Uh,
And what made you decide to work in the UK as well as study in the UK? Was there a particular opportunity you saw as far as the UK was concerned?
to be honest, I got the opportunity to study in the States at the same time with the
Uh-huh.
UK, but I preferred UK because it's research focus for the PhD. In the States, you will do lots of courses, and then you even with the research you do it with other people. But I believe the UK higher education, especially for postgraduate in the PhD level, they created the independent researchers by this schemes. And because my background in research and development in the industry, so I thought that's gonna be fit for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoyed that. While other my colleagues at that time, they came from the same background, but they're struggling because they came from the higher education background, not from the industry background. So that was that was working for me, but for them they struggled a bit. But so that's why.
But I know you've said before, and you saying earlier on that for you it's very important to build the bridges between industry and the academia in this area. I just wondered if you've had very much experience of working though with smaller creative businesses. You talked about SMEs, but this is a sector which, in terms of the creative industries, is typified by micro businesses, by businesses which are freelancers or self-employed people. Have you had much opportunity to work with them, or has that largely been working with some of the bigger companies within the sector? Because there are still some very big companies in the sector, or very big companies which have got an interest in the sector.
Yeah, no, I work with some of the SMEs or new companies. They do a brilliant work, and I try to reach out to them. If there is a fund, we could work together. I reach out to them and said, "Look, guys, there is a fund, and I think we can do something about it." and they are a small company, but they get excited about that because they need that's kind of help. Most of the industry or SMEs, let's say, they don't know about the funds available that could join the industry and academia. There are, for example, the KTPs, other UKR and Innovate UK funds, which is could help industry and university to collaborate together for a project. Some of the other companies, they are even not companies, but like charities, and you work with them and you try to solve their problems. The main issue for me, I think, for SMEs and businesses, to encourage them to talk about their problems. I cannot come up with a wide range of solution and present it all the time. But if you come to talk to me and said, well, I have this problem, do you think you can help? So I will think about it. If I can help, I can. If not, I will tell you, probably you need to contact X or Y or Z because they are more expert of me in this field. And that's how you make the connection.
Yeah, no, quite. And I guess in a way, I mean, one of the joys of being at Abertay, and you've been there for a couple of years now, I think, is the fact that you have got such a in the context of Dundee, you've got such a rich microcosm of Scotland's creative industries.
Yes, especially games. Abertay
Yeah.
is well known as one of the first university that introduced a games degree in higher education. And it is leading in that. Lots of games industry going on in Dundee. And we're working with all these sectors all together. Recently, we are working on a project involving telecom company from Europe to focus on cloud gaming and 5G.
And you were saying, is that the project you were talking about before, which is related to esports?
Yes. So
Talk a little bit about that, because I know that'll be interesting to people in the Philippines.
Yes. So esport is a booming industry right now, and to get into the esport, sometimes as a gamer, as what we say, or playing games, you need to invest a lot within your PCs because these need lots of high resolution graphics processing. So you pay thousands of pounds for each piece of it. So cloud gaming will make it easier for you. So you have your mobile phone connected to the cloud gaming. There is different platforms available, and then you connect it to your TV and your joysticks or handsets through your mobile, and you can play with it. What we try to do is to get the new technology, the wireless telecommunication, which is 5G, because it is faster, low latency, the capacity is higher. So we try to study that effect on the players. So we got this idea. We have the participant, which is we hope our students, we have a large number of students, and they get paid to play games.
Nobody's going to complain about that.
No. Yeah. And we agreed with the company that we're going to publish the findings because we found there is a gap in the market. There is no one has studied this opportunity before, and we thought, well, we will start this and see what's going to happen.
And you were also talking about another initiative you've been involved in, specifically focused on the creative industries, which was to do with film and television and the whole issue of how of sets and people having to go onto set to record or to film in different locations.
Yes, this is the virtual production project that we try to do, which is which is very interesting for the film industry, because instead of you having to travel to space to shoot a movie or travel to far away, a forest, a rich city, there is nothing to do. You sit in your studio and there is a big flat screen behind you, and using the game engines to project whatever you want on the screen behind you. And this is, you can change location probably every couple of hours, and you don't need to travel or pay lots of money for actors or the crew, transportation, the risk of losing equipment or damage your equipment because of travels, all that's happened. So and we use this and link everything through 5G because of the processing, and that will help to speed the process. And also you could connect it with other locations which is do the same thing. So another studio for virtual production, so you have multi-location that's connected all together, and you can work all simultaneously at the same time.
I must ask you, because obviously when people talk about technology, one of the things which is often cited, particularly in the context of the creative economy, is the energy cost, the amount of energy that's used by things like NFTs and mining, the blockchain. I just wonder, are there concerns there about whether or not, in actual fact, would you be testing to see what the energy balance is in terms of, rather than all the costs associated with flying and the like, the costs of actually being able to use this technology in that way? Would you be able to show to come in as being more cost effective?
Yes, because with using AI, you could use that to monitor the power consumption that you have. So when we don't use our equipment, that could be turned off automatically, and then turn on when we need it, or when you just transmit or receive something. So that could be managed automatically by applying these new technologies to it. And with the 5G, for example, because you have the capacity to with the low latency and the high capacity for bandwidth, so you could do that over like edge computing or cloud computing, to do all the processing on the edge or cloud instead of doing it on your own processors. So for example, because you have small devices and you cannot do lots of processing unless you have a big PC to do it for you, the cloud will deal with it. So you are only gonna use the transmission or the reception energy that you need, instead of using all the process yourself through your machine.
Well, it's fascinating, and as ever, anything to do with kind of 5G and future technology, to some degree, always manages to baffle me, and ask me, set my mind racing in terms of lots of questions that could be asked. But thank you so much, and I'm really looking forward to your participation in the roundtable on Monday. Thank you for your time today, Laith,
Th
and we'll look
Thank you
forward to
for
seeing you
the
there.
opportunity. Thank you very much.
You
And
take
nice to
care.
talk to
Okay,
you.
bye bye.
Take care. Bye bye.